So hello everyone, myself Saurabh Thawali, and today we are going to have a session, or we are going to have a casual discussion on what is exactly the software industry, and we are going to see what kind of different jobs or different profiles are available for you in a software industry. So this is specifically targeted to the college engineering fresher graduates, like who are just passed out from engineering colleges or from BSc IT computer science and who do not have much of insight on IT industry, and they are looking for a good job in a software industry. So this session I have conducted just because I remember my days back in college when I passed out in 2009. I struggled a lot to know that what is IT industry, what is software industry. I was totally blank when I got passed out, and I was not knowing what is the best profile or what is the best job I should choose in this industry. That's the reason this session for all those guys who are looking for some help to understand what is the software industry and what you are going to understand from the software industry, and from the different profiles which we are going to discuss today. You might get a sense, or you might get an understanding which matches your skill set and which is the best best job you should choose from it. Okay, so before I start, let me introduce myself. So myself, Saurabh Thawali. I have around 7 years of software industry experience. I have done my engineering from Kavi Kulguri Institute of Technology, which is in Ramtek near Nagpur. So we call it as KITS Ramtek. I have graduated from that college in Electronics and Communication branch. And so as I mentioned it here, I struggled a lot to get my first good job. So why I said first good job is because I got a job, but that was not in IT, and I was looking for a good job in IT industry. And the moment I passed out from the college in 2009, the recession was going on, so we were not lucky enough to get placed from campuses. So I struggled a lot. Almost I gave more than 20-25 interviews to get a good job in IT industry. So that's the reason I said I struggled a lot to get my first good job. I attended a lot of off-campus interviews. I attended a lot of on-campus interviews, but finally I landed up with Cognizant. So I started my career with Cognizant, and I spent almost 3 years in Cognizant. I learned a lot over there, and I started building my profile. And then I moved to uh, Oracle. Is a product-based company. Most of you already aware that Java is owned by Oracle. So it's one of the biggest product-based company in the world. So I got a chance to work for Oracle. I worked with Oracle for almost 2.5, 3 years. And then I moved to Zensar Technologies, which is a service-based company. So initially I didn't know what is IT industry. So to be frank, when I was out from college, I was totally not sure what the IT industry is all about. I was just knowing that, okay, there are people working in IT industry, the white collar people who earns well, and there is a job in an AC room. I have to do something on the laptop and I can get good amount of salary. This is what only I was knowing initially. But slowly, when I entered a job and when I started looking at profile, pro responsibility, and the day-to-day activities, I started getting an insight. Okay, this is how the work is done. This is how the software industry is. So, and today, if you ask me, I have a good amount of confidence and experience, which I would always love to share with those guys who do not have an insight. What is that? Okay, so it's very important to know before you come in any industry. So, being in college, I know most of you may not have a proper insight on what is the software industry. That's the reason I have conducted this session, especially for you guys. So today we are going to discuss what kind of jobs are available in software industry. So there are a lot of jobs with a lot of profiles. We will not able to discuss each of them, but I have picked some of them which will give you an insight that these are the major category of jobs which are available in the software industry, and what is the skill set required to get those jobs, or what all the activities or what all the day-to-day responsibilities involved in those jobs. Okay, so those who are just out from the college, pass outs, you might be thinking, can I get a good job in software industry? This question might be coming in each and every guy who just passed out with maybe a good percentage. So even if you have 90 or even if you have 60, take my words, that doesn't matter. How many percentage you acquired so far in your engineering, from first semester till your last semester, that hardly will matter. What is what is going to be a decision making factor for you, that we are going to explain, that we are going to discuss it. Okay, so moving further. So first of all, before I even talk about software companies or an IT company, have you ever thought about it? Why do software company exist? First of all, so you have to ask these questions on a day, on each and everything which we discuss, because that's how the answers is going to be clear for your day-to-day basis. So why do software company exist? Basically, they exist for to solve a problem. So problem can be a generic or can be a specific. So these are the broad category. I'll say there are a lot of other things, but this is the main thing why the software company exists. So to solve a problem. So the problem can be a generic problem or it can be a specific problem. What I mean to say, a generic problem. So let's say a generic problem, and electricity bill. Everyone gets an electricity bill on a monthly basis in your home, and you have to pay that electricity bill. So if you remember back some years, how we used to pay the electricity bill, we have to take that bill, go to government electricity bill collection window or a center, and we used to stand in a lane and hold on some cash, and we used to pay it manually, right? So, but people thought, why don't we have a software with which we can directly pay an electricity bill, an online facility, or maybe another facility with which from my bank itself that electricity bill will get deducted every month. So this is a generic problem. The generic problem in the sense, the problem which is applicable for most of the population. So there are some software companies who who came up with a solution that, okay, we will provide a software with which you can pay your electricity bill from your home. We'll provide a gateway, we'll provide some mechanism with which you can pay your electricity bill. So that is basically to solve a generic problem. What is a specific problem? That's a specific problem deals with a business. For example, you have your own company, and to do accounting of your company or to generate a pay slips of your company. Initially, if you see in the manufacturing companies or the companies who used to pay the salary to their employees, they used to give a salary slips along with the salary, because that time the salary was in some old days, the salary was supposed to be in a cash. So they used to give a cash salary and a pay slips along with some signature stamp or something like that. But all those manual process was difficult to manage if you have more than lakh of employees. So there are some specific problem with the company. Then they approach to the software company. They say, I have this problem. Can you give me a solution for this? Then the software company will step in and say, okay, yes, I can create a software for you with which you can directly transfer your salary of your employees to their accounts, and you can also generate a salary slip for them. So this is a specific problem. So majority of software companies right now, what we see is to solve the problem. Either it can be a generic problem, which is for all the population, or it can be a specific problem for a specific client. Okay. So these are the broad category of software companies exist right now. You should be clear about it. What is a product-based company and what is a service-based company? So these are the two major category of software company which we see on a day-to-day basis. So what is the product-based company? So if you see, I kept some of the examples in front of you. Example like WhatsApp, SlideShare, Microsoft, Redbus.in, Oracle, BookMyShow, Apple, Google. These are all product-based companies because they create or they develop a product and then they sell it to the customers. So the WhatsApp, what it has done, it has created an Android app for the chatting, and then it launched in a Google Play, and then people started downloading it and using it. So basically, it was the app was not created to solve a particular client's problem, right? It was not my or your problem. It was created by the product-based company so that the entire population or the entire people can take an advantage or can start using it. So basically the product-based companies, what they do is they develop a products which can they sell it to the customers. Okay, coming back to service-based company. So service-based company, like if you see Infosys, TCS, Cognizant, Accenture, Wipro, Zensar, all these other service-based companies. So what they specific majority of them are doing in services. What is services? Let's take an example. In your home, you have certain services which you outsource, right? Again, the term outsource might be new for you guys. So let me tell you what is outsourcing. So let's take an example. You have your home, and there are some services which you ask a maid to do. For example, a cleaning service in your home or a cooking service in your home. So these are the kind of services, or these are the kind of activities in your home which you outsource. You do not afford to do that on a daily basis, or do not have time, or you do not want to manage it, what you do is you outsource these things to someone else who can come do it for you, and you pay them for that particular service, right? So this is a small example. There are a lot of examples. For example, another thing, your car washing, a daily basis. If you outsource that, you yourself can also do that before going to office. You can clean your car, but if you do not have time, or you do not want to do it, or you want to get it done from some expert, what you'll do, you'll outsource that service to some other person. So you'll say, okay, clean my bike or clean my car on a daily basis, and I'm going to pay you some 500 rupees a month, or 200 rupees for a bike, or something like that. So basically what you're doing here, you're outsourcing some of your services inside your home to the maid or to the other guy who is going to wash your car. So on a similar basis, on a similar line, try to understand what service-based company does. They try to gather the requirements from those who are looking for IT support, or we'll say those companies who do not want to work or do not want to develop software on their own. Maybe they do not have an expertise, or do not want to have their own IT team, or there are a lot of reasons. They outsource this kind of business to the companies who are readily available and can do it for them. So that their service-based company jumps in picture. So the company like Infosys, TCS, Cognizant, Accenture, these are the very big service-based companies having more than lakhs and 2 lakhs of employees. And there are multiple projects going on in their companies. So why we call it as multiple projects? Because as I told you, there are different projects they accept from different clients across globe. So one client will say, okay, create a software for me with which I can generate a payslip for my employee. There will be another client from healthcare department who will say, create an enterprise software with which I can maintain my hospital details. There is another client, for example, a manufacturing client who will say, can you create a software for me with which I can generate contracts, or I can calculate and so on. Okay. So there are different companies.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Unmute तो कर रहा हूँ सर.
So these are the different kind of companies: product-based companies and service-based company. So you have first, before even you go to a software company, you should know what kind of company it is. Okay. Now the question is, how software company gets business. Okay. Guys, please don't unmute yourself unless it's required. So only if you want to speak, then only unmute, or you can ping me in the chat as well. Okay. So now the question is, how software company gets business. So we saw what is software, what is a product-based company, and what is a service-based company. We will see that in detail. Now you should understand how software company gets business. So let me tell you, there are different ways with which the product-based company and the software-based company, service-based company works. So there is a different channel with which they get a business, and there is a different way with which they do their business. So majorly, there are two kind of companies which we saw: service-based as well as product-based. So let's see how service-based company get their business. So how they get a business. So initially, let's take another example that I told you, a car washing service which you will outsource to someone else in your home. So initially they have to do a promotion of their service portfolio. Like for example, there will be a guy in your area who performs this car washing activity for each and every society or apartments in your pin code. So what he'll do, he'll try to service his portfolio. He'll try to give some advertisements in newspaper, or he'll try to give some pamphlets in your home door along with your milk packet. Just giving you a realistic example. They'll try to promote that, okay, we are the guys who can wash your car on a daily basis. We'll charge just 300 rupees a month. So basically they'll do a promotion of their activities, promotion of service portfolio, what all services they can offer. So on a similar basis, service companies like Cognizant or Infosys or Accenture, they also do the same thing. They'll try to find out the clients who are in need of IT services, and they are going to do the promotion of their service portfolio. They are going to conduct a meeting with them. They are going to explain, we have these capabilities, we have that capabilities, we can create this many good things for you. We can help you to have a very good website of your company. We can help you to generate business by transforming yourself into a digital thing and all. So they are going to do all these promotions and attract customers in need. And then the customer will say, okay, I have the requirement. They are going to gather that requirement, and then they'll say, okay, we can create a software, or we can help you in your IT requirement. Someone might have a database requirement, someone might have an infrastructure development, or someone might have a software development, someone is looking for only testing activity. So doesn't matter what kind of services they are looking for, they'll say we have services for each and everything. They'll gather that requirements, and then the business comes, and then they'll start working on the project. So they'll define the scope of work, what has to be done, what not has to be done. They'll quote that, okay, we are going to charge you this much. So again, there is a different mechanism with which they do a billing. So sometimes they charge for every resource, for every hour the resource is working. So resource is basically the employee. Okay, so we call it as a resource. So the employee who is working inside service-based company, let's say tomorrow when you are going to work for any company, you will be also called as resource. So they do a resource calculation, and they do a billing calculation, and they submit a code to the customer that, okay, if you want us to do this service for you, this much we are going to charge you. Then if there are some requirement clarifications and all, they'll do, and that's how the process continues. Then the business project will start, people will keep on working on it, and then they'll deliver the solution. Coming back to a product-based company, there is a bit difference here. So if you look at the service-based company, how they collected a business, they tried to first market their service portfolio. They tried to attract the customers in need, and then they'll say, okay, you need this, we can provide it to you. You are looking for a good website, we can develop for you. You are looking for a software for your hospital, we can develop for you. So this is a service offering which they are giving. Product-based company, they are a bit different. They'll try to identify a generic or a specific problem. Like I gave you an example of WhatsApp. What they'll do is they'll try to see what is the generic problem in a society, or what is the product I can create, and then they'll sell it to customers. So customer is not telling them to develop a software what he needs, right? Like he did it in a service-based company. In product-based company, they are going to develop a product, and then they are going to sell it to the customers. So the customer, for example, like you and me for a WhatsApp, we didn't go and ask the WhatsApp to create a software for us. WhatsApp has created its own product, and then we started using it. Similarly, the product-based company works. They identify a generic or a specific problem, product which can be resolve this problem, and then product promotion to attract customers in need. Then they'll do their product promotion. So in service-based company, they were doing their service portfolio promotion. Like we have testing services, we have development services, we have infrastructure, BPO. They'll do this kind of promotions that we have these services. What you want? Tell me. But product-based company, they are going to create a product, and then they are going to do a promotion of their product. Okay, and then the customer is going to buy their product. Then the customer is going to use their products. Like for example, the Zoom meeting, which you are using right now. The product is created by Zoom company, and then the customers like me and you started using it, right? They'll do a trial installation. Customer can evaluate, is this a product good for them or not. So this is how the product-based company works. So just an example in front of you on my left, a very well-known service-based company is there. Someone has raised their hand, you know. Yeah, Purushottam, you want to ask anything? Purushottam Modi has raised the hand. So do you have any question, or shall I continue? Hello?
Hello, sir. He didn't get any voice from your side.
I'm saying, do you have any question, or shall I continue? You raised your hand, so I just paused.
No, sir. Continue.
Okay. So, was giving an example of service-based and product-based company. So we saw how the service-based company gets a business, how they execute the business, and we also saw how the product-based company gets a business or they generate a business and then how they execute. If you look at the example in front of me on my left, a very well-known service-based company, HCL Technology, is there. If you look at the figures, they have, this is just an approximate figure, 90,000 plus employees. They have founded a company 23 years back, and their market cap is like somewhere $16 billion. Okay. Coming back to product-based company, if you see it on the right, WhatsApp Inc. Again, it's old figure, but yeah, when they were having only 55 employees in their company and just 5 years old, their evaluation was more than HCL, which is $19 billion. So you can see the comparison between service-based company and a product-based company. There is a huge gap, right? But yeah, don't take this as an benchmark that you should only join a service-based company. Okay. So let's go quickly with what is the domain and technology. So you should be clear about this. Domain is the business. Okay. Domain is the business under which you will going to work. So it's like healthcare, insurance, retail, education, manufacturing. These are the different domains with which you are going to work. And technology is tool to solve the business problem. So for example, .NET is one of the technology with which you are going to create a software for healthcare domain. Java is another technology with which you are going to software for a manufacturing domain. Testing is one of the technology with which we are going to test an applications in any of these domain. Doesn't matter if it's from healthcare, insurance, retail, or anything, right? So that's how you are going to differentiate between domain and technology. You should be clear about it. I see a lot of experienced guys who say or who give a wrong answer when we ask, okay, in which technology you work? So they'll say healthcare. If I ask, okay, in which domain you work, they'll say .NET. So you shouldn't be in that case. You should be clear about what the domain is and what the technology is. If someone asks you which domain you work, you should say, okay, I work in insurance domain, but I use a Java technology for that. So your answer should be crisp in this case. Okay. So these are the different profiles now which we are going to discuss. I have 8 minutes left, so let's walk you through quickly. So if you need, I am going to share these slides with you so that you will get a detailed idea about what the different profiles are included in software industry and what is the different skills required for it. Okay, so basically the coder versus technical profile. So what is a coder? So you don't I see most of the engineering graduate who come out of the college and who want to join a software industry, they only think, okay, there are only two kind of jobs involved in the industry. One is development and another is testing. Apart from that, they hardly know anything. But let me tell you, there are more than 15-20 profiles, and all are interesting profiles based on your own interest, of course. But there are a lot of profiles available for you with which you can join. It's not only that if you know the development, you can join a software industry, or you can know only testing, you can join an industry. There are a lot of other profiles available for you which you can explore and join. Okay. So let us walk you to the plethora of opportunities in software industry. So these are the some of the, on my right, if you see, these are some of the profiles which are available for you. Right from development, IT system, quality analysis, implementation, marketing, sales, UX design, front-end engineering, technical content writing, service engine optimization, SEO, digital marketing, graphics, web design, business analysis. Whatever I listed it on my right are some of the profiles. Okay, it's not all. So don't just think that only development and testing are the two profiles with which you can start your career. So there are a lot of other profiles which you can explore based on your interest, and you can start. Okay, development. Most of us knows this. So major key responsibility is to deliver the solution by doing some coding for the customer. So they'll know, understand the customer problem, create a technical and functional documents, develop solution. So there will be an architect, coding and testing involved, implement the solution, and sometimes given support. Skills required. You should know the basic understanding of some coding or some language like Java or .NET or anything. You should have a good communication. So communication is very important in IT industry if you want to have a very good career. Okay, your written and verbal, both of this communication has to be very good, because you have to talk to client, you have to understand their problem, you have to suggest them a solution, you have to do a regular meeting. So your communication has to be good. That will get improved if it doesn't. Means if it's not good in beginning, but you have to work hard on it if you want a very good career in the software industry. some of the profile, and again the next IT system profile. What they generally do, if you have your company server and if you want to have someone to monitor that server, if something goes wrong on a server, you want to run an antivirus on your server, if you want to fix some server issues. So these are the some kind of guys who will be looking for this kind of activities. We call it as IT analyst or a system analyst. So their work is to maintain all the subsystems such as HR portal, CRM, ensure latest version of software and hardware updates are available on your machine. So generally, when you work in your company, you get Java updates from the IT system analysts. They ask you to update your computers because their work is to keep softwares up to date, or their work is to keep your infrastructure up to pace. Okay. So I don't have much of time, so I'll just walk you through quickly these different profiles, and I'll share you these slides so that you guys can go through it in detail. Okay. So quality analyst, the keyword, the testing, a very well-known job profile in the market right now. Basically, what they do is they try to test the software which is developed by the coder. Okay. So again, there are different kinds of testing involved, right from the functional testing, automation, load, performance, and so on. So there are huge amount of activities, or there are a lot of things involved in the testing. Another, implementation. The software developed by a developer, tested by a tester, someone has to install that at client location. So again comes a job of implementation engineer. That guy will be responsible of implementing that software to the customer location, installing, doing all the configuration, interface, and all those things. So that particular engineer is responsible for taking a software from you, which a developer and tester has developed and tested it, and go it to the client and install it or solve their installation issues and all. Marketing. So this is where the people from marketing is going to market. The first thing which we saw, how the service and product base gets a business, right? They market their service portfolio. They do the promotion. Promotion can be of different ways. They can conduct webinars, they can conduct in events, whatever kind of branding they want to do, they'll do it, and with which they'll create a lead for sales, and sales are going to turn those leads into an actual business. So again, there's a profile in sales. So marketing and sales, both of these are a very good profile in IT industry. If you have a good communication, and if you like to speak with the clients, and if you try to convince them and get a business, so you can jump into these profiles as well. Coming to a front-end engineer. So again, these are the guys who will create a front-end UI for you, a web template, a web component design, a UI design, and all those things will be taken care by front-end engineers. Technical content writer. These are the guys who are going to write a good content for your website or your software. So whenever you see some content available on the website, so who writes all those things? So there are specific profile for which there are specific group of people who are going to write this content for you. Okay. Search engine optimization. Whenever you search something on Google, so how you are going to get results on a Google? So of course, every company would like to appear on top whenever you try to search. That who can create a software for me? Infosys would like to be on the top. HCL would like to be on top. So there are a group of people in IT industry who try to do this kind of SEO work. So we call it a service engine optimization. Okay. Graphics, web design. Again, a similar thing. We saw it in front end business analyst. Why I'm going fast is because I am left with only 2 minutes, and the meeting is going to end automatically because I have scheduled it only for 1 hour and we started it late. So there is an advantage for the Indian people to jump in IT industry. Why? Because there are a good amount of technical skill professional available. We have good English speaking population available, robust telecommunication infrastructure we have, low cost of offshore outsourcing. So this is one of the biggest reason why we are getting a lot of projects from US and Europe, because we have a very affordable services and affordable resources available. So these are the major established IT hubs in India, right from NCR, Delhi, Mumbai, Pune, Hyderabad, Kolkata, Bangalore, and Chennai. So there are others who are emerging, like in Nagpur and Ludhiana and so on. Indian software exports, if you look at the graph, it's keep on increasing on a year-on-year basis. If you look at 2014-15, our industry is around more than $80 billion right now, which is a big figure. Okay, and it's keep on increasing. It's a fact you should know. So there are a list of facts. I'm going to circulate this PPT to you guys so that you can read it. 53% of startup founders are in age of 26 to 35. There are a lot of young people who are jumping in the industry and taking an advantage of the IT industry and trying to prove something by doing some startups or by creating some products. What you should do. So this is a I would like to talk much on this, but time is not permitting me right now. So let me talk some other time on this. So there are a couple of slides which I thought I'll be talking on, like what you should be doing as a fresh graduate. Simple formula in IT industry: initially, don't concentrate on earning. Don't look at how much money you are getting from which company. Just concentrate on your learning. So this is my personal experience. Once your learning is done, earning automatically follows you. You don't have to follow the earning. So just concentrate on how much you are learning and how much you can contribute to the industry. Just try to learn as much as you can, because once your learning is done, you will never know that your earning will keep on following you. There will be a company who will be fetching you. You do not have to change the job. Company will force you to come back because they will offer you a fantastic package. So just concentrate on your learning. What should be your next move? Do a research on each and every role which I have discussed. I'm going to send you this PPT so that you will get an idea what roles and which skills required. Get an opportunity to prove your skills. So these are the list of websites which you should be